Hey everybody, welcome to Harmon Garage. I'm Aaron, and today we're getting into a project that's a little different than what we normally do. You may have seen on the thumbnail that something looks a little off and it doesn't look like we're working on a car or truck, and that's probably because we're not. So my wife's birthday is October 9th, which is Monday, which for you guys will be yesterday. For me, will be in 4 days. Today is Thursday as I'm filming this. So obviously it's her birthday. I need to get her something from me, and I need to get her something from the kids, and I need to get her a whole bunch of stuff because she's kind of needy. So, you know, typical wife stuff. But anyways, she's been asking me to build her something for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. And every one that I've seen before, with the exception of one here lately, was made out of wood. And I am not a woodworker at all. I mean, I can frame a house or, you know, build a deck or something like that, but when it comes to like building furniture or cabinets or something like that, find somebody else. I'm not your guy. And this happens to be furniture. So over the last 6 or 7 years, I've paid somebody to build one of these for me. Never got it. And she even got the piece that you need to do it, and had it for me. And then I was doing some work on a truck and I needed it, so I took it and used it. And needless to say, she still doesn't have what she wants. So the time is now. I'm bringing you guys along for the ride, and this is our new project. This is the tailgate off of the 84 6.2 diesel truck over there that the bed's going on Shorty, and we have the original tailgate from Shorty, which is the right year for Shorty to put on it. So we have an extra tailgate. My wife, which many of you can probably can't think of the word, but you know, you probably know what I mean, because a lot of wives want these. But my wife wants a Chevy tailgate bench, and like I said, in my mind the only way to make one was out of wood, and I just couldn't put that together. So then I saw one that was made with a metal frame, and I was like, I can build stuff out of metal, we can do that. And then I just so happened to take down a set of bunk beds that was in my boys' room because they got new beds. So I've got this whole metal frame bunk bed, and if it'll hold a 100-pound kid 6 feet in the air, it damn sure should make a decent bench. So I've got the metal, I've got the tailgate. My wife's birthday's coming up. She always tells me she'd rather have the kids and me make her something, or draw her something, or paint her something, and she wants us to make the card for her versus go to the store and buy one. So I've bought just about every house plant that exists in the world today for her, for Mother's Days and birthdays and Christmases and whatever else, because I don't ever know what else to get her, so she always gets the house plant because I know she likes those. This time she's gonna get her tailgate. She doesn't know anything about it. I'm gonna try to sneak her reaction to getting it onto the video, but she doesn't want any part of YouTube, being on YouTube, being involved with YouTube, or any of the above. So I don't know that that will happen, but I'm gonna try. I might like put a GoPro mount on my 3-year-old's head or something and have her run around, mommy, mommy, mommy. You never know. I'll try to be creative. Anyways, before we get started on this, if you haven't already, go check out harmongarage.net. I'll put it right here so you can read it, and the description's in the link. I have 3 t-shirt designs up there right now. The only place you're ever going to be able to get them, and if you get one, it helps me out a lot. So if you feel like it, go check it out. If you don't, that's fine too. But not this video. The next video, I'm going to release 2 more shirt designs, and November 1st I'm going to come out with sweatshirts. So first I said hoodies, but it's gonna be hooded sweatshirts or hoodless sweatshirts. I don't know what they're called if they don't have hoodies on them, like non-hoodies. So we'll have hoodies, non-hoodies, and zip-up hoodies. So, but that'll be not till November 1st. So either way, do me a favor, go check that out and get ready to leave some comments on this video. Let me know what you think. Okay, so I finally utilized my engineering degree and drew up a very in detail blueprint for our bench here. Side view, front view, everything we need to know is right here. We got our tailgate, got our metal that we're gonna start with. We're ready to go. So got my accurate blueprints, got my materials. I'm obviously probably gonna need more material, but I got what I need to get started. So here we go. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do, pick up my tailgate and get it out of the way because I don't have very much room to work on concrete right now. Everything's kind of a big mess. So I'll just grab this and set it over here out of the way for the time being until we're ready for it. And then we'll come down here. I don't have any I've got a plan, I know what I want, but I don't have any blueprints or anything like that to tell me how to do it. So I measured my lawn chair that I got over there. I measured my stool that I got in there just to see, what height-wise would be good. And I'm tall, so I kind of made it to where it was it would be good for people that weren't as tall as me. And now that I'm trying to explain to all you guys everything that's going on, I forgot what my measurement was, so give me 1 second. Okay, that's what I thought it was. I just wanted to double check. My stool that I have in there by my workbench seems to be a pretty good height for the bottom of the bench, and it's 21 inches tall. So we're going to measure 21 inches, and we're going to mark 2 of these at 21 inches. And then we're also going to mark these same 2 at 21 1/4. 21 1/4. 21 1/4. We're going to roll them over to this side, and we're going to mark them at 21 1/4. Same thing over here. 21 1/4. Now, you guys may be looking at me like I'm an idiot, wondering why the heck I'm measuring them at 21 and 21 1/4. Like, you only need it to be 21, right? That's your measurement for where the bottom of the seat's going to be. Yes, that's right. But I can't stand sitting on something that has a straight up and down back. Like, I don't need to have the gangster lean, tilted way back, but I need a little bit of something. I can't just sit up and hunched over. I gotta lean back a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna mark these 21's my height. 21 1/4, I'm gonna pie cut it from 21 to 21 1/4, and then let it roll back, and wherever I'm yeah, that's good. When I roll it back, that's where we'll weld it back together, and then it will, you know what I'm saying. So anyways, 21 1/4. I'm gonna go get my cutoff wheel ready. I'm gonna go get a square so I can mark this, and I'm gonna go and bring the camera over here closer so you guys can actually see what I'm doing, why I do it, and then we'll keep going on the bench. Okay, now obviously we don't care about the extra holes and stuff in the bench because we don't want it to look like something brand new from, like, you know, that store that comes with lots of instructions and everything, and you got to put everything together and stuff like that. So we don't care about that. But we also don't want these holes where other stuff used to bolt to be loud and proud on the outside. So, like, these two sides are smooth. So I want this to be the outside and this to be the front. And then, you know, that's mainly what you'll see unless you're like looking underneath the bench. So what we'll do is we will find our crop. Okay, so we'll mark this at our 21. That's going to be our front. There's our 21 1/4. We'll mark this at our 21. We'll mark this at our 21 1/4. 21, 21 1/4. 21, 21 1/4. Now, you may be wondering why I marked all four sides, because I don't need all four sides marked. I only need two sides marked for a pie cut, right? Right. But I have to cut across the back on both of them so it can lean down, and then I have to cut across. I don't have to cut across the front. But anyway, so this is going to be the front on the, if you're sitting on it on the right side of the bench. And then this will be the front if you're sitting on it on the left side of the bench. So we have to make sure we pay attention to that when we cut this so that it lays out right. So there's 21, 21 1/4. 21, 21 1/4, 21, 21 1/4, what I said before, what I said before again. Okay, so we got that now. Okay, so I'm gonna have to sand all this crap off anyways. So what we're gonna do is, this is gonna be our, I always do everything like the way you're gonna be sitting in it. Like if you're sitting in a car, the passenger side is the right side, driver's side is the left side. So if I'm sitting on this bench, this is gonna be the front right, and this is going to be front left. Okay, so now I know that. So that means that I need to cut this side with the star. I need to cut this side with the star, this side with the star, this side with the star, and then just the top on the back, but that's easy to figure out. So now that I know what sides I got to cut, I need to go from the 2 1/4 or 21 1/4 to 21. Yeah, to get my pie cut. You got to be careful and make sure you're doing them right, which I double checked I did. Okay, so I marked that side right, I just marked the other side wrong. Alright, now, got that part done. Ready to do some chopping. You might notice I closed the shop door because Marlboro Man's sitting right there with the fresh paint job and everything, and I don't want to blow sparks all over him. So that's why the shop door's closed. Okay, now we got that. Now we can lay that back however far we want it to be. If we think that's too much, we can bring it up a little bit. We can check it on both sides and make sure it's the same. And tack weld it back together. So now we got that one done. Need to do the same thing to this one. Okay, got that part done. Those are cut. I'm going to go and get my little wizard wheel here so we can clean the paint off of that. Or I don't think it's powder coat, I think it's just paint and scratches too easy. We'll clean the paint off of that. We'll drag the welder out here and we'll get it welded back up, and then we'll move on to the next piece, which is going to be cutting our overall height. So I'm going to do what I just said I was going to do, and we'll be right back. Okay, just a little thing I didn't necessarily mention. Just, you don't have to have an old, I mean, this is obvious for most people, but you don't have to have an old bunk bed to do what I'm doing. I mean, I like to reuse and repurpose, and metal's expensive, and so on and so forth. So this is just what's working for me. I mean, you can go down to your local metal supply store and get some thin wall 2x2 square tubing and do the exact same thing that I'm doing. So don't think, oh man, I don't have any metal like that to use. You don't need to use what I'm using. You can use anything. So anyways, I'm going to clean this up all the way around. Got my old welder sitting here. We'll get it tacked up. I'll show you how to make sure we get both sides identical. And then I got to figure out what to do next, because I ain't never built one of these before. So we'll figure it out. Just trying to get the little plastic feet out of the bottom here. Mainly just so I have somewhere to ground my welder. And because once I'm done making the bench, it'll be nice to put these back on here, because there's a good chance this bench is going to end up inside my house. And my entire house is hardwood floors, so it'd be nice to have these caps versus just the metal. And then I'm going to take this like so. That's kind of warm. Okay, now I got that tacked. I'll go ahead and put a little tack on the back. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this over to the smooth side. And I'm going to bring this one, put it on top of it. And then we're going to make it match up perfectly. Like so. Which probably gonna need to go get something to hold it. It's me holding it not working out very well. I bet you if I drop the hammer knee on there, no, I ain't got a ground. Dang it. Okay, now take those line up absolutely perfect. Put a second tack there to help hold it, and they are dead on. Now I'll do this, go ahead and get this welded up. And I'll tell you one thing right now, how my welds turn out depend on how much body and paint work we're going to do on this thing. Because if the welds turn out looking pretty good, I'll probably leave them because they'll be cool and show them off. If they turn out like crap, we'll grind them all down so you can't tell where they are, paint over top of it. Both of those are cut and laid out. Now we're going to let those cool off for a minute because I'm not in a rush. I mean, heck, I've got like 2 more days to finish this. So, you know, why would I do anything but wait till the last minute? So, anyways, we got 2 more days to finish it, so it shouldn't be that big a deal. The biggest deal is going to be cleaning it all up and painting it. I don't know. I definitely don't want to leave it blue with a brown and tan tailgate. I know what would match my house. I know what my wife's favorite colors are. So I have no idea what color it's going to end up being, but you guys will be just as surprised as I will when I find out. So, alright, we're going to let it cool off for a minute. I'm going to take some measurements on the tailgate and see how high we need to go up here where I tilted it before we cut it off, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, I measured the height of the tailgate and it's 21 inches. So I measured from, you know, my pivot, what's going to be my seat spot here. I measured up 22 inches because I want to have a little gap at the bottom of the tailgate. I don't want the tailgate sitting on whatever the seat is going to be. I need to leave some room for it to go in there. And honestly, I haven't decided what the actual sitting part of the bench is going to be made out of yet. The ideas haven't traveled that far as of right now. I'm just I know how to make a frame and put a tailgate on the backstage. So I measured up 22 inches. I got marks there, so I know where that's going to be cut off at. These are my front legs that are going to come up, you know, in the front. And then I'll have an armrest, and I'll have the spot where you put your butt. I made the spot where the armrest is going to be 10 inches up from where your butt's going to be, so it's kind of sort of close to the middle of the back. I don't know if that's right. I've never made a bench before, but sounds right, seems good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the front piece up, and it's going to be 2 inches shy of the full 10 for the armrest, and then I'm going to set the armrest on top of it. That way I can put one of those caps that we took off back in the end, so it's not just an open hole, for one thing, and two, I'd rather have the opening be on the front than the opening be on the top. I just think it'll look better. So I got these marked. I'm going to go ahead and get them cut. I'll finish marking up there and cut those, and yeah, then we'll have to start making pieces to tie all of this stuff together. Okay. Alright, now I just threw the pieces that I still need way over there. Anyways, we got that. We got this. We got this. One of these for this. Make that sit flat there. Okay, now the next question is how big we want our base to be, because I don't know that either. How much room do you need for your butt to fit on? Say 16 inches. Sounds like a good, round number. Let's see. If I measure from the back of my knee to the back of my butt, it's about 22. But I'm really tall, and you don't really want the back of your knee jammed into the front of the bench. So I'm thinking 16 sounds like a good round number. So we'll go 16. Okay. So then what we're going to need is another piece of this. And I know for sure that I'm going to need the piece to go across the top. But do I need a piece to go across the bottom? I'm going to say probably yes. Probably yes. I'm going to have something to attach my bench part to. So what we'll do is rather than eyeballing, we'll take measurements so we know both of them are the same. So we'll measure this, and it's 14 inches. 14 inches. Inches. Might be able to get 2 out of this. We'll find out. Never measure 2. If you think you can get 2, never measure them at the same time. Don't put your tape here and go, oh, 14 inches, and then mark 28, because by the time you cut it, it's going to be wrong. I always cut this one off first, and then measure and mark the second one, and then cut it. Or do it whatever your way is, but that's the way I do it, and that's the way that works, so it's up to you. There's that one. Oh, perfect. 14 inches. Okay. Alright, so this is our front left piece. So we need to find our, hey, left front. That worked out good. So that's going to need to go like that. We need to clean this piece up. I wanted to angle these a little bit so that the seat was not straight up and down. So the idea was, okay, let's do this. So that should be at 21. Okay, so if I move this, leave that at 21, and move this up to like 22, and we'd have some angle on our seat bottom. Okay, we're going to do this one, and we'll get it tacked together, and then see how it looks, and then we'll do the other one, because otherwise we're just going to make a mess, which I'm doing anyways. Okay, I got that piece welded in, and I wasn't paying very close attention, and I didn't make sure that this was all straight before I welded it all up. So now, from here, to here we have over 1/4 of an inch difference. So what's that mean? Cut it back apart, do it again? Not so much. I'm pretty sure I can get that spread 1/4 of an inch, and I'll put another brace in there, which I was going to do anyways. And so I know that this right here, I know we originally started out at 14, but by the time we cut this down and got it in there, our spread is now like 13 5/8 because of what we lost by angling that piece. And this down here is 13 1/4. So we're just over 1/4. We're a little bit over 1/4, but I think I can spread it. I'm gonna make one of those small braces, 13 5/8. We'll get it spread out. We'll put it in there, and I know what I did wrong on this one to correct it on the next one. So let me get one of these pieces over here. It's gonna take me a minute to get this brace made up, because I'm gonna have to measure all 4 sides, cut all 4 sides like I've been doing with everything else. So let me do that, and let me get it ready to go, and we'll see how it works out. And if it doesn't seem like it's going to work out, I'll cut it all back apart again, because why not? Not gonna make it halfway. I'm gonna do it right. So if I gotta cut it back apart again to make it right, I'll cut it back apart again to make it right. But let me see what I can do here. Alrighty, I got my two ends made up. I got the first one straightened up. I ended up having to cut one side back apart, three sides of one piece on one side back off, so I could tilt it a little bit so I could get my brace in so my spacing was right and everything was straight. Did that, welded it together, laid the second one on top of the first one, laid everything out so it all went together identical to the other one. So both of my ends are done now, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Next thing I need to do, there's two things I need to do next. I already got a mark right here and a mark right here. I need to go ahead and mark those the rest of the way around, and then I need to cut those off, because that's going to be the top of my back, the top of my tailgate. So I need to cut those loose and or cut that off, and then I'm going to take these pieces, or maybe like this piece and that piece, whichever one has the least amount of holes and imperfections in it. I'll take those two, and I need to run a piece from here out over here for my armrest. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to cut those off. We'll take those pieces and turn them into that, and then we'll lay those out and get that square and mark there, and we'll cut them off, and then we can weld those on, and then the ends will be 100% completely done. We can put the tailgate on the back, and then I got a little surprise for what we're doing for the seat bottoms. I didn't come up with the idea until yesterday evening when I had already quit, and I happened to know a few people, and I went around and did some searching and found what I was looking for, and I think it's going to be a really cool touch what's come together in my mind how we're going to do this. So I'm going to go and I'll go ahead and cut the back down to where they need to be. Then I'll get the other camera set up on the tripod, and we'll make the armrest, and then we can start assembling some more stuff. Alright, so up to this point, well, as you can see, I got this cut down. I got the other ones out of frame where you can kind of see it leaning up against the truck over there. But they are identical. Really close to identical. Kinda, sorta identical. Anyways, I should be able to make two of these exactly the same and put them in and be done. So that's what we're gonna do. I measured from here to here, and it's 17 inches, and I want it to overhang the front about a ½ inch, and I'm gonna need a little bit more for my angle back here. So I measured them at 17 3/4, which is right here. And so what I'm gonna do is take this like this, and what I had in mind is not gonna work at all, but actually okay, as I was saying, so what I'm going to do is I want this to be to overhang this a ½ inch. I gave myself an extra quarter to compensate for it coming back for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this 17.5. Do the same thing on this one, which is where I want it to be. I want the smooth side up, so we will set this at 17.5. No, we won't. 17.25. I should probably figure out what I'm doing before I show you guys, but where would the fun be in that? it just looked like I knew what I was doing and I was just slapping a bench together, which is not at all the case. Okay, so 17 1/4. And that should be 17 1/4. It should be close to square, so I should be able to go like that. And it didn't even leave a mark. Dang it. Okay, well I'm gonna have to cut this end off anyways. So I guess the smarter thing to do would be to put this on here. And make a mark. It still didn't make a mark. Okay. So I'm just going to go by my angle and we're going to eyeball it, because after we eyeball it, we can fill the rest with weld, because why not? So I want this to be my top. I want this to be my outside. So, okay, so what I just did, I'm measuring in 1/4 inch, because I'm pretty sure that's what I did on the other side, or I took 1/4 inch out when I made that. So that should give me the right angle. Maybe. It's really windy and rainy today, guys, so if the wind is blowing up the camera, I apologize. But, okay, so we're going to trim this. Okay, now this should lay in here like so. Obviously, I still need to clean up the where I'm going to weld and whatnot, but I need to go get my T-square so I can put it in there and make sure that everything is square. And then once I know it's square, then I'll go ahead and clean it up, and then we can weld it on, and then we'll make another one. So I'm going to go get a square so we can see what we got going on, and we'll do that. I guess it's not a T-square, I guess it's just a square, but square is a square, a square, whatever. We're going to do this. Square right there. So we're going to go like this and make marks way back outside of where we're going to clean it up. And those marks are serving two purposes. First purpose is tell us where we need to clean it up. Second purpose is we know where we have to we can line it back up once we get it cleaned up. Okay. Got that done. Okay, now what I'm going to do is first of all, I'm going to get this line back up where my marks are. And then I'm going to put a tack. I'm going to put a tack, just a small tack over on this side. Right after I turn my welder on. In case you guys didn't know, if you don't turn those things on, they don't work. And they're hot. Okay, I got a couple tacks there, but I put them both to where it'll still allow this to move. So now I can come back in here with my square and make sure we're still perfectly square, which we are. And then I'll come back and tack this side. Okay, got that all tacked into place. Now, I'll go through and weld it up. We'll trim it off where we want to cut it off. And this side will be done. So, let me go ahead and get to welding. When I get done welding it, we'll measure it, we'll cut it, and then this part will be done. Okay, I cheated on you guys and measured the width of the tailgate without filming it, but please forgive me. Hopefully one day you'll get over it. I'm just messing around. So, okay, so the width of the tailgate, where it's going to sit in my frame, is 65¼ inches. So I've got these two braces, and they're going to be my front cross brace for the seat bottom and my rear cross brace for the seat bottom. So I need them to be the same width as the tailgate's going to sit in there. So what we're going to do is measure these two bars to 65¼ We'll cut them, we'll clean them, and then we're going to hope that Mr. Big Swole over here, not really, just making it up, can hold all this up and hold it together and get it tacked by myself. Because unfortunately, once again, Pops isn't here, and I don't know how we get by without him, but we try. But anyway, keep your head up. He'll be back on Monday, which this video won't go up until Tuesday, so by the time you guys see this video, Pops will be back. He's just not here today. So. Alright, 65¼ 65¼ This is going to be the inside of this. So, what I want to do here, first off, I might as well just go ahead and clean this. I know roughly where it's going to go. Alright, now, my pieces that I'm going to be putting on here for the seat, I'm going to bolt the back to this bar, or weld it, butt it up against it and weld it, which I'll show you what they are in a little bit. I'm just keeping the secret as long as I can because I like messing with you guys. And then the front one, it's most likely going to overlap a little bit, so I can leave it back in there a little ways, but I'll probably go, I don't know, I want to get closer to one of the outside edges because it's going to be weaker with that hole there. But I think the easiest way I'm going to be able to do this is, looking for my ground, found it. I think the easiest way I'm going to be able to do this is to weld this one on like this with it standing up, and then I can stand it up, and then I'll only have to try to hold one side together. Is that really going to be easier? I don't know. Does it sound good? Yes. So that's what we're going to do. Once again, we're going to take some precise measurements, and by precise measurements, I mean we're going to eyeball this because, you know, that'll be good enough. I'm going to go in about 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to put it on the same slant as my bar where my seat's going to go, and then we'll go ahead and tack it. Okay, that stands there pretty well actually. So flip this around. We'll take another extremely precise measurement for this side. We're going to put it on the same, we're going to have it be the same height as the seat here, but we're going to keep this one going straight up and down, and we're going to put it out towards the front edge. Okay. Got that part done. I'm going to go check on you guys, make sure you can still see what we're doing, and probably adjust the camera a little bit because we're going to have to move it up some so you can see the next part. But don't mind me not inappropriately touching or nothing. So, got that. Should be good right about there. Hopefully that didn't make you guys too uncomfortable. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm just being stupid. Okay, so that's the inside. This is going to be the inside. We'll go ahead and get this cleaned up. You guys think I can get this? Leave me a comment, let me know how you think this is going to go, if it's going to go good or if it's going to be catastrophic failure. Alright, that didn't go too bad. All four bottoms are sitting even level on the ground. It's not shaky. Here we go ahead and weld it up. Alright, I got all these braces welded up that I was working on, and I noticed that it was like kind of doing this type thing. It would go in and out. So I just went ahead and threw together a brace that goes across there to hold that, and just tied those together in the middle just to strengthen it a little bit. So the frame of the bench essentially is all done. So we're moving in the right direction. Now, what I'm gonna do next, because of the way that I built this, and I did it on purpose because I wanted the tailgate to fit in the bench and not just, you know, be in between it. The tailgate is gonna sit, I'll show you in a second, but the edge of the tailgate is gonna sit here, and it's gonna come all the way over this lip a little bit, which means I have to relieve it for this brace. So I've already come up here on the tailgate, and you see it kind of comes down here, and there's that flat spot that's gonna sit on top of the back piece, and then that bar, the upright, is gonna sit flat here and here, and the tailgate's gonna be welded into the frame. So I've already marked it here. I gotta relieve this, slice, 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 and then that will allow the tailgate to go in here instead of in between. I'll just have to kind of put it in at an angle and work it in there, but that's not a big deal. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that trimmed. It's the tailgate, working on the tailgate itself is hard to film because I have to have it leaning up against something because it's so bulky, and it's, you know, up to where I can hardly see up at the top is where I'm working right now. And then I'm gonna flip it over and do the bottom and all that, and I showed you guys what I'm doing. So rather than trying to get the camera set up to where I can show you what's going on, I'm just gonna go ahead and buzz it out real quick, and we can get the tailgate in, start cleaning it up, getting it tack welded in place, and move on from there. But we're making good progress. I'm happy with it. I'm really hoping that I can get all the fabrication done today and a lot of the sanding and prep work for the paint done today, and that way I can come over tomorrow, which is Saturday, paint it. It can dry and cure all day Sunday, and then Monday we can take it and give it to her for her birthday. So I'm gonna get this tailgate addressed, and then we'll get ready to put it in. It's really coming along, and I'm really liking it. I'm pretty impressed with myself for the way it's coming out, and I'm in a pickle. My wife likes antique stuff. Our house is old. There's a lot of antique-y stuff at our house, and I'm not sure if I want to just rough it up and clear it, or if I want to paint it like I've been planning the whole time. My house is like a off-white or antique white with black trim, and my wife's favorite color is like a turquoise or a teal. So I was gonna paint the frame black, paint the tailgate and the seat part mostly white, and then have turquoise accents. So it kind of goes with the house, and it's kind of the colors that she likes. But at the same time, like the antique, all different color, used and abused and beat up look is kind of cool. So I got the tailgate on, I got it trimmed out like I told you. I got it put on and welded in. I'm gonna turn this camera around and show you guys what we got, and I'll also finally show you what we're using for the seats, because it's that time. Can't hide it from me anymore. So here we go. Tailgate is on. I got my relief cuts made here. Up here at the top, it's sitting on top like I told you it was going to. This is not going to stay open. When I come back at the end and do all the finishing touches, I will make a plate. It'll come down here and cover this on both sides, and that'll keep water from getting in it if it's sitting outside. It'll keep my 3-year-old from climbing on it and slicing her fingers wide open, and it'll keep my 11, 12, and 16-year-old from climbing on it and slicing their fingers on it too. So kids, you know how they are. But anyways, sitting all the way in here like I told you I wanted it to. I got about 1 inch of weld there, 3/4 of an inch of weld there, roughly the same over here on this side. That ain't going nowhere. I'm actually pretty surprised with the balance of it. Like I can move it back that far, let go of it, and it still sits back flat. I was afraid the weight of the tailgate was going to really be trying to flip it over, but it's not. So that's good. I'm sure you guys have already seen them, but we got antique chair bottoms to be the seats on the bench. And you might be going, you only got 2 and you've got like 5 foot. Yeah, you're right. And I've already got an idea for that also. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these. They're gonna slide down here on this back. I'll probably tack weld them, but then they're gonna end up being bolted also. And then I'm gonna relief cut there in the front so that the front slides down over this cross brace. You may notice I don't have it on the end. I'm gonna measure in 6 inches from here. You know, I'm back to that hole. I've been lying about 6 inches my whole life, so I can't really guess without a tape measure, but we'll leave that 6 inches there. We'll do the same thing on the other side, leave the 6 inches there. And then we're gonna put like a little, I don't know what to call it, like an end table or whatever area in the middle with 2 cup holders in it. So my wife and whoever wants to sit on the bench with her can sit there and have a place to set their drinks without them getting knocked off and whatever else. So I've got a stack of license plates like that tall that didn't fit. People gave them to me so I could complete my workbench wall in there. And my workbench wall is all complete. And I still got this whole stack of license plates right here. So, and the 6 inches between the side and the bench, I'm gonna kind of frame it out and put license plates there. And then the table area in the middle, except for where the cup holders are, is just gonna be framed out and be license plates also. So, I thought we were getting close, and now I'm explaining to you guys everything that we're doing, and it seems like I still got a long way to go. But that's okay. It's for my wife. You know, she'd do it for me. Probably not, but anyways, it's for my wife. She takes, you know, mom of my kids and everything else, and like I said, she's been asking me to build her one of these for a long time, so if it takes me all the way up until Monday to get it done, which it probably will because I'm a last minute person, then that's fine. So anyways, start framing, start measuring, start framing. First, I'm gonna clean up this terrible mess out here because I can't take it anymore. I'm tripping over stuff, I'm kneeling and stuff. It's getting on my nerves. So we're gonna clean up a little bit and then we'll start framing out for the seat part. Alrighty, well, I made some progress on the seat part, bottom, whatever you want to call it, and I'm not filming this process. I explained to you what I'm gonna do, and it's just basically putting more cross braces in and welding them in. And I don't want to draw this video out too long because once I get the bottoms in, I still have to dress it up with the license plates, and once I get that done, I still have to prep it all, and then I got to paint it, and then we're going to try to surprise my wife with it. So I don't want this to end up being a 2-hour video. I just don't want it to end up being a 2-hour video for your guys' sake to watch me sit there and cut tubes and weld them in place. So I'm going to show you what I got done, how I did it. I'll go ahead and finish it up, and then and then we can move on to the next step in the process. But here it is. I went over my 6 inches like I said, and then we got our seat. I notched it. I'm gonna have to clean that up some, but we'll figure something out for that. I notched it so that sits on there, and then I drilled all the way through my frame and through my seat, put carriage bolts in, and lock nutted it on the inside. That ain't going nowhere. So I'm gonna have to put probably 2 little braces in there, and then I'm gonna have, I already marked it out, over to here is gonna be my center cup holder, magazine table, little area, whatever you want to call it. This will be my 6 inch mark. We'll have that. And yeah, so I got to weld in 2 more braces, put the other seat in, and then I'll bring you guys back, show you what it looks like with that part done, go over what we're going to do next, and just keep on making it happen. All right, well, it's the end of the day on Friday, and I have to have this done Monday. My wife doesn't like me working on the weekends, and usually when I come over and work on the weekends, she drives by and stops by to see what I'm doing, which isn't a good thing. We can't have that. So I got to find a way to sneak over here and work on this over the weekend so that I can get it done without her finding out about it. But anyways, the whole bench part's done. Frame's done, tailgate's done. I filled in our pieces up here, cleaned all that up. If it was gonna be perfect, I'd put some filler on it, but it's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna get painted just like it is. This side done too, filled in the end of the tailgate. Got that all done. I think that's about as far as I've gotten. Things left to do. We're gonna make 2 cup holders right here. I'm gonna put a brace right there. I'm gonna put a brace right here. And I'm gonna put a brace right here. Just for the purpose of having something for the license plates to attach to. So I've already sat on it when I only had one side done, and it was plenty sturdy. Like, I'm 260 plus pounds and it didn't even budge. So we're good there. I think it's gonna be a little tall. My wife's only like 5'3", and it's, you know, on the tall side for me when I sit down on it. So we'll see. If she don't like it, there's like 5 inches that I can cut off the bottom, and 5 inches makes a big difference. So we'll see. Benches like this aren't normally something that gets sat on every day. They're usually more for looks and decoration. So I'm kind of thinking that's how it's going to be anyways. But anyways, like I said, we've made it this far. We're on the downhill slide. 1, 2, 3, 3 more braces, 2 cup holders, and then a whole bunch of sanding. I'm not gonna grind the welds off and make them perfect. I'm not gonna do any body work on the tailgate. Like, I'm gonna sand the rust off the back of it. I'm probably gonna take this pinstripe off. I'm gonna take the double-sided tape off down there, and I'm gonna take this off. As far as this dent, stay in. This dent, stay in. That dent, stay in. It's all staying. So just a lot of sanding. I just want to kind of make sure there's no sharp edges, no rough nubs from welds or anything like that that anybody can get caught on or scrape themselves on or slice their finger all the way down to the bone on or anything like that. And so that'll be it. But 2, 3 more braces, and then we'll get the sanding and well, three more braces, cup holders, and then we'll get to sanding, and then you guys will see how this thing's gonna get painted, and we'll wrap it up, but not right now. Okay, it's Saturday morning. We might have told a not completely true story to be able to come over and work on a Saturday. I wouldn't say it was a lie. I told her that I had a project that I had to get done by Monday so that I could have the video ready to go up on Tuesday, which is true. I have to get this bench done, so the video will be done so I can get it up on Tuesday. But I mean, honestly, I could have finished this bench Monday most likely, but I need the bench Monday for her birthday. So yeah, so we figured out a way to get over here on Saturday. I've been here for an hour and a half or so, maybe not quite that long. But I told you guys before, I had those rubber caps and I was gonna put them right here. After I did this yesterday, it went fairly smooth and looked really good. So I figured I wanted to go ahead and cap these two, because I've been thinking about putting those in here, putting those plastic caps in there and painting them to match the whole time, and the paint not sticking to them and I'm not looking right, and so on and so forth. And so I just went ahead and capped them. That way we can paint it all black and you'll never know the difference. It's nice and smooth, no sharp edges or anything like that. Then I went through, and my cuts weren't that great when I notched the seats to put them in here. So I took some 16 gauge, made backers, welded that together, and then filled it in so that it looked better. I did it on all four. Yeah, it's done over there too. So, a little bit of progress. I know I said I've been here for an hour and a half, and you're looking going, man, all you did was cap the ends of those pipes and fix the ends of those benches. Yeah, it didn't take me the whole hour and a half. You might notice I have a hooded sweatshirt on. First day of cooler weather here this year. I'm not a fan. My sinuses are bugging me, and when the weather gets cooler, I get slower. I can't stand the cold. Anyways, it takes me a little while to get motivated and going, but we got motivated and going. I showed you what we already got done this morning. Next thing we're gonna do is build our cup holders, which are gonna go right here. I don't know, should they go right here or should they go up here? I don't know. I think they're gonna go in here because it's easier to finish them. If I put them up here, I gotta do something to finish it out. So they're gonna go in here, which means I'm gonna have two cup holders. I'll have a brace, and then for license plate mounting purposes, I'll have to figure out what that looks like in there. And then over here, I decided rather than putting license plates long ways, I want to put them this way so I can get more different plates in here. And I'll notch around here, and I'll notch around here, and then I'm going to fold them over this edge so it covers that side too. And maybe if I'm lucky, I'll roll it over the front as well. So yeah, I'm going to I guess I got to get a plate and see. I might have to put two braces in here. I might only need to do one. I got to do the same on the other side, and then we got to do our cup holders in the middle. But I'm going to start with the cup holders because I'm excited about doing those. I don't know why I've made them. If you guys were around for the Rum Runner build, I built cup holders for the center console that I put in Rum Runner. I'm going to do this the same way. I got an old drive shaft over there that's already been cut. You know, it's got a nice 3 or 3.5 inch diameter tube. I'll cut off about 3 inches of it. Or is that 3 inches? I don't know. Cut off about 3 inches of it, maybe 4. Put a cap on the bottom of it, and then we'll make a plate that'll go across here. And I haven't decided yet. I can put a brace and weld the cup holders to here in the brace, and then cover it with license plate so it all matches together. Or I can build a plate with the cup holders in there, and then build a plate with the cup holders in it, and then it can just sit down in here and get fastened. So I'm gonna look around and see what I got for metal if I have some metal to build the cup holders separately and then put them in, that's what I'm going to do. If I don't have metal to do that, then I'm going to probably build a brace, weld them in, and then we'll cover them with license plates. So let me look around, see what I got metal wise. I hope I have a sheet big enough to do that, because I really like to do them separately and have them be their own thing and get painted black like the rest of the frame, and then we'll just do the license plates behind it. But if I don't have what I need to do it, then I can't do it. So let me go see what I got, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, with the cooler weather today also came the wind, and I have to work outside, so there's not a whole lot I can do about it. So sorry for the wind, but like I said, there's not much I can do. So alright, so this piece of metal here used to be part of a door. No, I didn't waste a good door. This door was not savable. Well, I mean, it probably was savable, but had too much rust in it. It wasn't worth saving. So anyways, I just took a cut-off wheel and chopped the chunk out of it that I could use for this, so it is not square. So if I go and measure off of an edge to make a squarish piece, it's not going to work. So I don't know that this is going to work, but I'm going to try it. So I need my piece to be 14 1/4. I'm starting out at 2 because it's easier to see the mark. So that'll be 16 1/4 off of there. 16 1/4 off of there. Alright, now I can line up my 2 marks here. Alright, and then measure up from here. I need 6 inches. Come over to here and do 6 inches. And now, since I got a spacing that far apart, like 6 inches apart, I should be able to grab a straight edge and make that straight. And then I should be able to set a straight edge on here and finish this line. Or it might be over here. Yeah, I can. I can finish this line like this. Okay, but anyways, I need a straight edge to make that line, and then I'm going to take this in on the bandsaw and cut it out so we get a nice even cut, nice straighter cut with less sparks. And then once I get it cut out, then we'll come back and we'll start making our other pieces to make a couple of these. Okay, I'm having terrible luck with sound equipment on cameras today. The other camera I was using was dead. Now I plugged this one in. It appears to be dead too. So I'm going to try to make this quick. This is my piece that my cup holders are going in. I relieved it to fit, welds and stuff on there. Cleaned it all up. Once we get this ready to go, I'll show you guys what it all looks like sitting in there. I'm going to go and punch a hole in these, and then we'll cut those out. And then these cups are going to mount up to the bottom. These circles are going to mount to the bottom of those. So I'm going to go ahead and get that welded together like it's gonna be, and then I'll bring you guys back, show it to you done, and then I'll show it to you, and then we'll put it in the chair and see how it goes. So here we go. Got the cup holders all assembled and installed, just like I told you, the way I told you I was gonna do it. I did it, and I was getting ready to clean up the welds where I welded everything on, and I went, whoa, wait a minute. Why am I gonna clean up the welds on that when I don't intend on cleaning up the welds on anything else? Like, the welds showing are part of the used material homemade bench deal. So I'm gonna turn the camera around here. I'm gonna show this to you. I think it turned out pretty neat. Once it's painted, I think it'll look a lot better. But here it is. Got our cup holders. Got it welded all the way across both sides, all the way across the front. Got the cup holders welded all the way in. Got the bottoms welded on them. I went ahead and poked a couple random holes in the bottom so that they don't hold liquid, condensation, rain, whatever kind of liquids may get in there. And then I just went ahead and spot welded it across the back. It doesn't need to be solid welded back there because we're going to have the license plates that are probably going to overlap it a little bit or butt up to it or whatever. But either way, you're not going to see them. So I'm going to go grab a license plate real quick, because the next thing that we're going to do is put our last couple braces in that we're going to have to put in, so that we have something to mount the license plates to. And honestly, I don't know, like, we got a 6-inch spread. Sorry guys, I don't even know where the camera's at, but we got a 6-inch spread here. I don't really know, this isn't intended to be sat on, so I don't know that we're gonna need braces over here. Like, this is gonna get notched so it comes all the way up here, you know, like so, and then I'll hammer the edge over. But and if that's secured good on both sides, I don't think we're gonna need any more braces over there. So I'm not trying to get out of doing work, I just don't, I already overbuilt everything, and this bench is probably already slightly overbuilt, but I don't think I'm gonna need to put anything in there. Now, over here, it could be the same. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this yet, because it won't fit this way. It'll fit this way, but I don't, two's not gonna cover it. So I'm gonna have to, like, get another plate, or find another nice flat one. Haven't decided what plates I want to use, but I guess we could just do that. Actually, I think it would be better underneath. Kind of put that in the middle. Put another one there. And then another one there. Like so. I think that would do it. What do you guys think? Think that looks pretty cool? I think it looks pretty cool. So we'll do that. We're gonna wrap the ends and all that. I might do something up here, but probably not. I guess we'll see. But yeah. So I guess I don't need any more braces. I guess we got enough. So with that being said, I need to get the sticky goo off of there and the double-sided tape all the way off of there. And then we got a lot of cleaning and sanding to do. And I'm not gonna put any license plates on until after it's painted, because I should be able to do the plates fairly quickly without scratching the paint up. So I shouldn't need to like test fit plates or anything. I can go ahead and do that once it's all done. So I'm gonna go and get a scraper and see if I can get some of this sticky tape off, and then we'll get the DA out and start sanding everything. And if I come across any spots that need to be grounded while I'm sanding, then we'll do that. Otherwise, we're not. And the only thing that I would grind is a sharp edge or like some weld slag that's sticking out or something like that. So I don't want to grind, I don't want to smooth any welds unless they look really bad, or if there's some, you know, like splatter that's gotten out or whatever, I might grind off. But as far as the welds, most of the welds on here look pretty decent. I mean, I don't have any really terrible looking welds, except maybe that one, but it's going to be covered, you'll never see it. These welds all look pretty good. These welds all look pretty good. These welds all look pretty good. All looks pretty good. So I guess next thing I'm gonna do, I'll just scrape that off real quick, and then I'll probably set up a time lapse for you guys so you can watch me sand on this thing with the DA for a little bit. But today is Saturday. It's late afternoon. I don't have the paint yet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get it sanded and ready to paint, but I need to do that quickly because I need to get home before my wife starts coming over to see what I'm doing, because she does that. And then so I need to get it cleaned up, get it sanded, ready, so that all I have to do Monday morning is go get the paint, wipe it down with wax and grease remover, and paint it first thing in the morning, so it's got all day to dry. So when I go home at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's dry enough that I can go give it to her. So that's the plan. Let me do a little bit of scraping. I'll do a little time lapse with the sanding process and whatnot, and then we'll move on. Okay, I got the front of the tailgate half sanded. I got this seat pad sanded. I kind of started to mess with the frame over there a little bit. I got the cup holder area sanded, but feels good to have the fabrication part of the bench done. Like I said, it's Saturday afternoon. I have to like gift this to my wife Monday afternoon. I don't think I'm gonna be able to sneak away to come work on it tomorrow. So Monday morning, I'm gonna have to hammer down on sanding and getting it painted and letting it dry for Monday afternoon, which is feasible. Most of the stuff, I mean, once I get the tailgate sanded and the seat bottom sanded, the whole frame everywhere, the only reason it really needs to be sanded is to scuff it up so the paint has something to stick to. And a lot of that's gonna have to be done by hand anyways. So I'll get a red Scotch-Brite and go over the whole dang thing, and we'll be painting. So that'll only take a little bit. The tailgate and the seat bottoms are the time-consuming part, and I'm gonna have to do a lot of that by hand also. But I promised my little girl I'd take her to the playground today, and we're about an hour from getting dark. So I need to get my butt home, get her to the park. So I'll be back first thing Monday morning. I'll bring you guys back first thing Monday morning. We'll get this bench knocked out for my wife, and hopefully everybody's happy. Okay, before we get started today, Pops is back. Pretty excited about that. We always like having him around. And I got the bench the rest of the way sanded down. I sanded it, then I scuffed it with red Scotch-Brite, and then I wiped it all down with wax and grease remover. So she's pretty much ready to paint, and that's what we're gonna do. I'm running out of time. It's like 11 o'clock already. I normally go home from work about 4:35, and it's my wife's birthday, so I'm taking this home with me to give to her. So I've got very little time to get multicolor paint done, and have it dry. So I'm gonna get to it, get painting. We'll see how it goes. So, as you saw in the time lapse, we got it's kind of an off-white or an antique white. The color is actually ivory something, but I didn't want bright white. I wanted kind of a antique-ish white because that's what color my house is. And then we got the flat or satin black frame, which we need to go back and touch up, put a second coat on. Hey look, there comes Pops and RJ. Cruising along. Anyways, got the black done, but it needs to be touched up. The white is all done. We went to lunch, it's dry. Came back, I got taped off where we're gonna put the third color, which is a turquoise, because that's my wife's favorite color and the bench is for her. So we're doing what she likes. So Pops just ran to go get some plastic so we didn't have to put a lot of tape on the fresh paint. So we're gonna throw some plastic on it. I'll get some paint laid on it. We'll take it off and show you what it looks like. All right. I got the license plates all finished up. I got the paint touch up all finished up. I got about 45 minutes till quitting time. So I got the bench sitting back out in the sun, baking the paint, I guess you would say, because it really needs it. I want to try to get it as dry as possible before I take it home. So I got it sitting right over here. I'm going to show it to you in a second. I called my wife and said, I'm gonna be home in about an hour and you're gonna be on YouTube today, so be ready. And she said things that I can't say on YouTube, I'm not. So I'm guessing she's not gonna be on YouTube. So no reveal of the bench with her, but I'll reveal the bench for you guys right now. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I hate that I had to last minute kind of rush some stuff. I wish I would have had more time to do it, but I mean, I didn't even come up with the idea until Thursday at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I had Friday, I snuck over here for a little bit on Saturday, and then I didn't even get the paint until first thing this morning. So either way, we got it done. I got it done. Pops helped me out. I think it looks great. I'm really happy with it. The teal color is a little bit darker than her favorite color, but I think it looks good. It turned out good. I'm real happy with it. So here it is. Got our teal band put in the tailgate. Got the benches, the design in the benches painted up. There's our other plates. They wrap the ends. Got our cup holders all painted up. Put a Harmon garage plate on the front of it just because why not? And everything else is just clean and painted black. So that's it. Pretty cool project. Kind of distracted me from other projects we should be working on, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Pops thinks it looks cool. And like I said, we're gonna let it bake here for about 30 to 45 minutes. Throw it in the bed of old RJ over there, take it home and give it to her. And that's it. Here's one more look at it. And now we get back to the real work. So if you guys haven't already, go check out my merch site, www.harmongarage.net. It's right here. And I'm adding 2 more shirt designs next video. So a week from today, next Tuesday, I'll be adding 2 more shirt designs to the website. And then November 1st, I'm gonna put some hoodies on there, or sweatshirts in general on there. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you keep up with it. I'll keep reminding you, but make sure you keep up with it. You'll find something you want, I promise. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. Pop says bye. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next time.